holding that to yourself?
No, I just found out last meeting. Okay, welcome to the March 3rd, 2026 meeting of the Rybrook Zoning Board of Appeals. We have several applications before us. We also have a situation where we have 3 of our 5 board members, and as a result, any application to be successful must have a unanimous vote. So if you have one person saying no, the application fails. If you have one person abstaining, the application fails. So I believe all applicants were contacted previously indicating that this was going to be the case. So I'm assuming if you're present here this evening, you will go ahead with the application. But you do have the option of requesting an adjournment as we go along before your situation comes up. With us this evening, we have Building Inspector Steve Hughes, Village Council Christian Gates, and Board of Trustee Liaison David Heiser. If you're going to be making a presentation either as the applicant or his or her agent, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, the nature of your representation, and the nature of your variance. So we have one application this evening, which is going to be a request for an extension. So that's going to be rather quick, and therefore whoever's up second, that would be the Lawridge application. Be prepared. Okay, our first application this evening is ZBA 25-012, Kevin Branch and Alicia Thompson Branch, 279 Newton Avenue, extension request of an approval of a zoning variance, Village Code 250-13H.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Kevin Branch. I reside at 279 Newton Avenue. I'm here for an extension on approval that I had last August. We're just pursuing an extension for more time to really understand some of the issues we have, specifically from the stormwater management perspective. We had some challenges in that area, understanding the problem set. We think we come closer to a solution. So as soon as the snow melts, we retain a engineering firm to come out. We're going to do some deep hole testing, and we'll have a better understanding. We can move forward with designing that system and go forward with getting the permits to start construction.
Okay, the extension is for 6 months, so
Yes,
that's going to be
yes.
sufficient.
We hope the snow melts before 6 months. So.
Okay. Okay. That doesn't stop everybody. I've got backhoes working right across the street from me all this past week.
Not that it matters. What's the variance for? Just to,
It was for square footage.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay.
It's gross
You comfortable with it? Yeah.
floor area as well as impervious coverage.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve it, if it's okay. So moved, seconded?
Second.
Okay, I'm not going to read the whole resolution. I'll just sign it, and it will go forward. So, based on that, I approve it also, so the extension is approved. Three yeses, 0 nays. Okay, congratulations, and 2 excused.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Well done.
Well done. Okay, let me just do the paperwork here. Glenn, yes. Jimmy, excused. Joe, done. Okay. Christian, in the options, we should put down excused, on the, not just absent, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So how do I do this?
Look who's here. Okay,
I didn't
next,
bring boards. Okay.
next application is ZBA. By the way, Steve, are these, does it sound like it's working?
Oh, yeah.
Working? Okay, good.
Volume's not up that high.
Okay, next application is ZBA 26-001, Jeffrey Weiss and Chelsea
I
Weiss,
didn't bring
52
board.
Lawridge
I
Drive.
usually do my computer.
Second floor addition, rear 2-story addition, front portico, and interior alterations.
Okay. All right, so I'm used to the computer. Finally got used to the computer, stopped doing the boards, and now
Are we missing something up there?
it doesn't work.
Well, what happened is the screen is now, the screen is not working, so normally he would plug in and show it. on
You're
the
going to
top.
need a microphone while you're
Yeah.
chatting.
Or can I, you can't really see it from there. Right?
Are you going to walk through the pictures that we already have?
Yeah, I mean, do you need, how much do you need to see?
No, we have the pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
and you have the plans, right? So I can just walk through it, okay?
right. That way you're in a comfortable situation.
Okay.
Is he able to plug up?
I mean, normally you just, right?
I hope she works here.
Yeah.
What service? Usually that just plugs right into my machine.
Pictures. I have them on
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them again.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Look at that. You just need somebody who knows what they're doing. There you go. Thank you.
Oh, where's
Okay. Okay. So 52 Law Ridge is on the corner of Law Ridge, Boxwood Place, and it has Sleepy Hollow behind it? Fair Lawn, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is the existing house. Right now, the piece that comes off the back of the house, which right now is the den, our plan is to remove it and then rebuild a larger part 1-story, part 2-story addition to create a family room that's a better size and to get a study to use as a home office and to get 1 bedroom and another bath on the 2nd floor by renovating part of the upstairs and just bumping out for the other bedroom. So those are the photos. So. Okay, so here's the drawings. So our addition is to the. If I blow this up. So our addition. Oh, this. Oh, how that? Okay, anyway, it's the shaded part in the back is the addition, but what we're doing is overhanging the side of the house a little bit for part of the study, which works with our setbacks and works with our lot coverage. Okay, so the addition is to the right side of the house. Setback is part of the study overhanging the house, and then in the back, we did basically mostly a 1-story addition, and then in the middle is actually the bedroom piece. So we tried to keep it tight. We knew we were over on FAR, so we basically just added exactly what we needed without going too crazy. So, and all of it's to the back of the house, and then the front of the house, we're just going to reside the house and do a portico over the front door, which the portico doesn't need an addition because the house is set back far enough.
You may want a restriction on that.
Yeah.
Well, if they enclosed it, we still need another variance because, again, we'd increase the FAR in theory. So, okay, so that's basically, so we're asking for 250 square feet more of FAR. So there are other houses that have similar houses that are also bigger. So I know you like samples. So
Also, at some point, can you speak to why this is the smallest possible variance that meets the applicant's needs?
yeah, because we were very efficient on how we added to the house. We removed the back piece to build it more efficiently and to just add what we need to basically to the rear of the house. So the first floor has what it needs on it, and then the second floor has what it needs on it. We kept the size of the rooms pretty typical to the house.
What is the size of the box that's being added? Length, width?
The size of the box is 14 feet out, and it's about 26 wide on the first floor. And then the bedroom is basically 12 by 14 is the dimension of the box.
So currently, you're well below the allowed square footage.
We're decent, yeah, we're decent. We're allowed 41, we're at 36.
So you're,
Right.
you're coming up to the allowed, and then you need
We're going
250 more. Okay. All right. Now, the new owner took possession since the last variance was granted. So when did the new owners come in?
August of 2020. Hi.
That's the
Where
only,
are you? Okay. So that was August of 2020? Because I remember, if you remember the controversy over the fence.
oh, that was a fence, yes.
Yeah, remember the people did not,
Yes.
the neighbors did not want the high fence blocking it. So evidently, you know, he puts up the fence in 2013 and bails in 2020.
The fence was
A lot
what
of people
size?
bailed to 2020.
What size fence did they put? Did they got a
The
variance
house,
for
the
that?
house has a swimming pool. It's a unique property because the property has streets on all three sides. So you got Fair Lawn behind it, Boxwood
Yeah.
on the right of it, and then Law Ridge. So the house is like a peninsula. So the rear yard is on Fair Lawn. The house has a pool.
Right.
So it is also landscape, but they always had, that house for years had a 6-foot fence running along Fair Lawn and Boxwood. And then kind of when it got to the driveway, it went to no fence.
Okay,
So,
we're not
so,
here for this.
so it was, right, so, I mean, right, so the fence was basically for the privacy of the pool. And in all fairness, the fence is kind of landscape, like it is fenced there and landscaped. And I remember I didn't present it, but I remember being at that meeting when that was a controversy, because I know those fences are sometimes controversial, but some houses that really have a lot of exposure have no privacy.
Right.
So the board kind of felt, as long as they limited it to that section and the whole entire thing wasn't fenced in, and it was,
Now, the reason I bring that up is because there was a neighbor was concerned that the openness of that intersection of three streets would
oh,
create
for
a
the view
blockage.
of
So
driving, okay.
it leads me to the question, Steve, was there any objection? Because adding an addition is a little bit more than putting on a little fence in terms of how it would be reactive by individuals that would be.
Well, the
Affected
addition
by
is
that.
on the inside
Right.
part of the house, so we're nowhere near the corner, like
Yeah, I
we're
just
on
want to
the
make
inside.
sure, because I didn't see any letters
Yeah,
supporting
there was
or-
no letters in opposition received to the building department.
That's my understanding. Okay, fine. Okay,
And everything else, as far as lot coverage, setbacks, everything
Everything-
else
everything's
conforms.
clean.
That's the only thing we're not conforming on is the FAR.
okay. Okay, anyone have any questions? Application? No? Okay, is there anyone in the audience wants to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in the audience want to speak against the application? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, public hearing is closed. Okay, in terms of the factors, the only one that I think I would ask about is, do you consider the variance of 250 substantial?
What is it, about 7%, 8%, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's, I would think it's
Yeah,
substantial.
I would call it substantial.
Okay. All right, in terms of the character of the neighborhood, do you think it will impact the character? No?
Not negatively.
Okay, and in terms of the physical environmental conditions, Steve, you're not aware of any environmental concerns?
None, not aware of any.
Okay, we know it's self-created. Okay, let me go ahead and read the motion. It would help to read the right motion. At least I caught myself on that. right.
You need one.
No, I have it right in front of me, but just want to make sure I'm pulling the right one out. Okay. 52 Lorridge, right?
Yep, 52 Law.
Oh, man. All right, it disappeared.
Could it be with what you gave,
Yeah, you want
You
to
can,
check?
you can read mine if you want.
No, you don't want to read that.
Regardless, I do have an extra.
Yeah, no.
not there.
No, I don't have it. That's fine.
Maybe you did hand it to me.
I think I did. Okay, now I feel better. Whereas an application has been made to the Zoning Board of Appeals by Jeffrey Weiss and Chelsea Weiss, collectively the applicant, for an area variance to exceed the maximum allowable GFA in connection with proposed second-story addition, rear two-story addition, front portico, and interior alterations on property located at 52 Lorridge Drive in an R15 zoning district on the north side of Lorridge Drive at the intersection of Lorridge Drive, Boxwood Place, and Fairlawn Parkway. Said premises being known and designated in the tax map of the Village of Rybrook as parcel ID 129.59-1-48. I'm going to pause for a moment and ask Joel, you mentioned conditioning.
I don't, given that they have to come for another variance, I don't know if it's necessary.
I think historically we did anyway,
That's fine.
even though,
Yeah.
and you have no problem with that, right?
I have no problem.
Okay, so Christian, can you get that ready so when I get to it?
What would you like the condition to be?
That they can't build out the house to the portico.
Okay, whereas the applicant seeks relief from the following requirements of the Rybrook zoning code. First, section 250-20, section E, the maximum allowable gross floor area is 4,191 square feet. The applicant's proposed second floor addition, rear two-story addition, front portico, and interior alterations will result in a GFA of 4,441 square feet, thereby requiring a variance of 250 square feet. Whereas a duly advertised public hearing was open and closed on March 3rd, 2026, at which time all those in attendance wishing to be heard were given such opportunity. Whereas the proposed action is a Type 2 action pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Whereas the board, from the application and the record before it, after viewing the premises and neighborhood concern, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth at section 250-13, section G, part B, items 2A through E of the Rybrook Code, finds the requested variance will not create an adverse impact to the character of the neighborhood. The benefits the applicant seeks cannot be achieved through another method feasible for the applicant to pursue that does not require the variance. The requested variance is substantial quantitatively. The requested variance will not create any adverse impact to the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood, and the need for the variance is self-created. Now therefore be it resolved that said application is hereby provisionally granted, till we vote, on the following conditions. No permit or certificate of occupancy shall be issued until the applicants have paid in full all application and consultant fees incurred by the village in connection with the review of the application. And secondly, Christian, can you read that, please?
Yeah. The variance granted herein shall not be applied to the gross floor area of future modifications to the portico or enclosure of the deck.
Okay, comfortable? Okay. All right, are you okay with those?
Yep.
All right, let's have a... Okay, now I know how I messed up. I signed this application before, and I gave you an empty application. Okay, so the Glenn, yes. Joel said yes.
yes.
Don says yes. 3 yeses, 0 nays, 2 excused. Application is approved. 3 yeses, no nays.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There we go, Christian. I'm going to eventually need that other one back so I can...
Here's the extension one.
Okay,
First, you just want to sign the back.
yeah. Come on. Now I can see why.
I do have extras left. I'm just trying to figure out where we go mine.
Okay. There we go. Cleaning up behind the elephant there. Okay. Third application before us this evening. That would be ZBA, ZBA 26002, Mark Sternberg and Alexis Sternberg, 41 Mohegan Lane, one-story addition, deck, interior and exterior alterations.
Good evening. Excuse me. My name's Steve Marcassani. I live at 5 Scott Circle in Purchase, New York. I'm the architect for the Steinbergs. We're proposing a one-story addition to the front of the house for a kitchen and dining alteration. Required side yard on that side is 15 feet. We're proposing the addition part of it would fall at 12.77 feet and the deck at 13.49 feet. The total side yard setback is 40, and we're proposing 37.77 feet, and both setbacks require a variance of 2.23 feet. The property line on that side angles in on the house, which cuts off the two corners of the deck and the addition. And it doesn't affect the whole side of the house, just those two corners. The side is also screened there. There's existing evergreens along that line. And we feel the proposed variance is minor and will not have an adverse effect on the character of the neighborhood and its environment. And if you have any questions, we'll...
I have a question of Steve. Didn't the board previously give a side yard setback and variance in the past? So we're basically piggybacking on the previous side yard setback that was issued.
Correct.
So that was in 2012. There was a request to push it out. And so what has been the logic?
I'm not sure what the previous setback was for, because the house, the way it is, conforms. It was, the existing corner is 15.5 feet, so I don't know what the other variance was for on the side.
Steve, can you shed some light on that for the viewing public?
This property was previously given a side yard setback variance for a 1.75 single side yard setback variance and a 0.95 foot total of 2 side yard setbacks variance. They're combined, and it was in connection with a new front porch and second story addition.
Okay, so
But I still don't understand how the side yard comes into the front entry when the front entry is way farther away from the side.
Yeah, it just has to do with the shape of the lot, the angle of the house. That's why that, came into play at that time.
Okay, I
It's
just don't
definitely-
see it, but...
it's definitely a weird shaped lot that's going to
Yeah, well, that's
cause,
why the corners get cut off, because of that angle.
and the fact that the house is toward the front makes it even more problematical, because if it was pushed back, you wouldn't have this issue. And because the house is located where it is, it's going to create that. I don't have a problem, with the
Right.
nature of the nature of the variance, requested variance, other than asking the question I asked before, and that is, was there any way that you could have done what you wanted to do without getting a variance and satisfying the owner's needs?
No, because of that side property line. In order to square it off, we have to hit that corner.
So basically, if you wanted to meet that, you would have an angle and not a square off.
Right, or a square off setback.
Push back
which
even
would
more.
Be
Okay.
kind of odd in the room. It wouldn't help.
Okay, all right. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience want to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in the audience want to speak against the application? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
So much faster when you Oh, we have to ask two. Okay,
I
public.
waited a beat to give you a chance to pipe in.
I know.
Yeah, see?
You're so good at that. I'm seconding.
Good, good. I think it's obvious that the nature.
Yeah, the nature, if this was a regular shaped plot,
Yeah.
I might potentially have an issue,
Right.
but,
How about the, do you consider the size of the variance
substantial,
problematical?
percentage-wise, it's large percentage-wise. I think it's like close to 20% percentage-wise.
Is it?
It's 2 over. It's 2.23 over 12
Over.
for the side.
Yeah, so it's almost, it's about 17-18%.
Okay, yeah, all right, I'll go along with that. And it cannot, will not create an adverse impact? And cannot be achieved through another method? I'm going over it now, so I don't have to reread it in a second.
Mhm.
And how about, will not create any adverse impacts to the physical or environmental?
Well, no.
No.
So I think it was sufficiently shaded covered on both sides, so I didn't have a problem with that. Okay, let me read the resolution. Whereas an application has been made to the Zoning Board of Appeals by Mark Sternberg and Alexis Sternberg, collectively the applicant, for area variances concerning the minimum single and combined side yard setbacks in connection with the proposed one-story addition, deck, interior and exterior alterations on property located at 41 Mohegan Lane in R12 zoning district on the northwest side of Mohegan Lane, approximately 400 feet from the intersection of Pine Ridge Road and Mohegan Lane. Said premises being known and designated on the tax map of the Village of Rybrook as parcel ID 135.41-1-29. Whereas the applicant seeks relief from the following requirements of the Rybrook zoning code. First, Section 250-21, Part G, Item 2, Part A, the minimum required single side yard setback is 15 feet. The applicant's proposed rear one-story addition and deck will result in a single side yard setback of 12.77 feet, thereby requiring a variance of 2.23 feet. Secondly, Section 250-21, Part G, Item 2, Section B. The minimum required combined side yard setback is 40 feet. The applicant's proposed rear one-story addition and deck will result in a combined side yard setback of 37.77 feet, thereby requiring a variance of 223. Parenthetically, they're the same, resulting from the first one. Whereas a duly advertised public hearing was opened and closed on March 3rd, 2026, at which time all those in attendance wishing to be heard were given such opportunity. Whereas the proposed action is a Type 2 action pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Whereas the board, from the application and the record before it, after viewing the premises and neighborhood concerned, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth as Section 250-13, Section G, Item B, Items 2A through E of the Rybrook Code, finds, and I read the 5 factors before, now therefore be it resolved that said application is hereby provisionally granted on the following conditions. No permit or certificate of occupancy shall be issued until the applicants have paid in full all application and consultant fees incurred by the village in connection with the review of this application. Okay, gentlemen, comfortable? Okay, let's vote. Steve is excused. Glenn?
Yes.
Jamie, excused. Joel?
Yes.
Don, yes. Application approved, 3 yeses, 0 nays, 2 excused. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Next application. ZBA 26-003. Okay, I'm going to pronounce it the way I was taught. Miguel Jaime and Kelly Jaime, as opposed to the vernacular. 85 Tamarack Road, two-story addition, new siding, windows, and interior alterations.
Okay, great. Try to do this over here. So my name is Evan Skovsky. I'm the architect for this project.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to see you again. So hopefully this is close enough to me, but we'll be discussing two variance requests tonight, which are related in that they're all related to this project, but two very different variance requests, I would say. So up on the screen, I just have the existing site plan just as a reference. I think it's helpful to start there. So the bulk of the work will be taking place where the existing carport is. So that is this area right here. That shed will be going away and we'll be modifying the driveway. And you can see that proposed site plan here on this drawing. So we're proposing to remove that existing carport and replace it with a two-story addition, and also to widen that existing driveway. The addition will take us over the allowable gross floor area by 343 square feet, and then there's going to be a parking spot variance where we need to provide parking spaces for two cars. Currently, we obviously are taking away a spot from the carport, so we need space on the driveway. In terms of the addition, so we are looking to add space on the first floor, which includes a new office and a new gym, and spaces on the second floor, which is an additional bedroom and bathroom. And these are spaces that the homeowner needs in this house for their family. The existing house dates to over 90 years ago, and much of this house is very small, which is especially evident if you walk in the door. The existing spaces within the house, the bedrooms, kitchen, dining area, the living room, these are all small spaces. There was an addition at some point that added this family room on the back, which increased the home's square footage, but that's the only space in the house that's sort of larger than average, whereas everything else is very small. They have a basement, but the basement is unfinishable because the ceilings are too low. They only have about 6 feet of head clearance in that basement. So while the added bedroom by itself might not take us over the allowable floor area, these two spaces on the first floor area, you could look at that and say those are the spaces that are taking us over the floor area. Gym and office are spaces that most homeowners in this town would have the luxury of possibly putting in a basement, which wouldn't count against their allowable floor area. But we are very restricted in that and not able to add any finished space in the basement. And certainly not really able to carve space out of the other rooms that they have. They don't want to lose their family room. There's some existing space on the second floor that's very, if you look at that den space, is incredibly narrow and almost unusable. I'm not sure, whenever that was added to the house, I'm not really sure what the thinking was there, but so they're in a tight spot in terms of finding a place for these features that most people desire in a modern house. And so that's the reason why we're asking for this floor area variance. We just don't feel that there's another place that this can go, and we feel like we're doing this as minimally as possible, but we do feel restricted based upon the existing structure.
So the first floor, I mean, just if I understand correctly, theoretically, that could have been a garage. You're getting rid of the carport.
It was a carport.
Right, and it could have been a garage and then have the bedroom above that.
But the garage still counts towards gross floor area. The only thing that doesn't count is the carport. So, because it's open structure. So if we were to enclose that and make it in a garage with an addition, I'd be asking you for the same variance, and we wouldn't even be getting these spaces that they're.
But you wouldn't necessarily need the off-street parking then, would you?
We would still have an existing nonconformity. I guess technically we might not be asking for a variance there, but just to be clear, that's an existing non-conforming condition. And I'm sure that you had a chance to look at the long letter I provided with the application, just talking about that parking requirement. I find it very strange, just we'll pivot to that is a blanket requirement that's sort of irrespective of zone, considering that there are, very large differences in lot sizes across the different zones with different front yard setbacks. To me, it makes it very hard to comply with the 25-foot setback in this particular zone, which is one of the smallest in town, unless you have a garage or a driveway that wraps around the side of your house or something like that. Obviously, this lot is a little bit above average in terms of the square footage of the lot itself, and, we could certainly pave over the side yard and take that parking away, but I don't think that's the trade-off we're looking for, is adding more pavement to the lot just to take the parking around to the side of the house. We're barely changing, just in terms of flushing up the front of the house here, we're barely making a change to where that second parking spot would have been anyway. It's a difference of maybe a foot, if that much. I would also point out that there's not really a definition of what a parking spot is in terms of the size of the space. I'm going with a sort of industry-accepted definition of 18 feet, but it's not defined in the code anywhere. So, if I came in and said our parking area is 16 feet, I'd be asking for a smaller variance, just it's not defined, though. But I think 18 feet is industry-accepted, so we'll go with that. We feel like this is, in terms of achieving what the homeowner is hoping to get in their home without, having to sell it and find a new house, and without completely tearing it down and starting from scratch. We feel like this is a minimal ask in terms of what they're looking for in terms of, their growing family and their needs. And then we also, and I'll just finish on this, just because we're talking about neighborhood character as part of this. We feel like this is certainly an improvement to the street, and certainly over what it looks like today, and definitely will help with the character of that area. Thank you.
Okay, I have 3 points
Sure.
that I just want to address. One is that right now, and you alluded to it, but I don't know if the listening public appreciates it. When you have that one car that you have now outside of that carport, you're infringing on the code right away.
Correct.
So by putting another car next to it, you're not exacerbating the problem, because the two is effectively impacting as the one did before.
Correct.
So visually, you just have 2 cars there. The second point has to do with that, the last time someone asked for that 25-foot thing, it opened up a hornet's nest that Steve is going to be working on for quite some time now, because it was on a street where everybody was basically in violation.
Right.
So I don't know if this is going to have the same reverberating effect, but it does. It is a unique situation in some places, and it is it's just a manifestation of the code being what it is. It's going to keep surfacing and surfacing and surfacing. It's not going to go away. The third item, I just want to compliment you on the letter that you wrote.
Thank you.
I thought that we get a lot of letters, but sometimes they're vacuous in terms of help. But you really hit on the points and made them very well. So I would keep that letter and use it again in the future.
Compliment. Thank you.
If you had to. I think it was very well written, and it addressed all of the points that I had.
And I'm assuming, because he's well-spoken, it was not AI generated, but I'm told by my kids that's fine anyway today.
I'm very against the whole AI. I don't know. I don't like to say this, but I'm Ivy League educated, so might as well put that to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions of the architect? Okay.
Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to note that for the resolution, the 2 variances are separated in this application, because theoretically one could be granted and the other one not.
Okay, good. So when I get to it, I'll just sort of try to combine them on the run as easily, as fast as I can. Okay, is there anyone in the audience, beside the applicant, who wants to speak in favor of the application? Anyone want to speak against the application? Okay, there being none, motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second. Okay, I like that variation there.
Share.
Okay, in terms of size, I think the parking issue is substantial.
Yeah.
And what about the GFA at 343? The existing is 2515.
It's
They're
over
allowed-
10%, right?
They're allowed 300 more, but they're basically going 343 over what they're allowed. So it's a big jump from where it is now.
If it was substantial earlier tonight, this is substantial.
Yeah, okay. So just as there are two of these, and in my opinion, they have the identical conclusion of the substantial and self-created, and the other three are cannot. And so I can just read one.
Yes.
And Christian, does that pose any hoops for you to cross later on?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, good. Whereas an application has been made to the Zoning Board of Appeals by Miguel Jaime and Kelly Jaime, collectively the applicant, for area variances concerning the maximum allowable gross floor area and unenclosed off-street parking in connection with the proposed two-story addition, driveway widening, new siding, windows, and interior alterations on property located at 85 Tamarack Road in an R7 zoning district on the northeast side of Tamarack Road, approximately 75 feet from the intersection of Argyle Road and Tamarack Road, said premises being known and designated on the tax map of the Village of Rybrook as parcel ID 135.52-3-53. Whereas the applicant seeks relief from the following requirements of the Rybrook Code. First, Section 250-23, Part E, the maximum allowable gross floor area is 2,820 square feet. The applicant's proposed two-story addition will result in a gross floor area of 3,163 square feet, excuse me, thereby requiring a variance of 343 square feet. Second, Section 250-6, Section G, Item 1, Part D, Number 2, no unenclosed off-street parking shall not be developed within 25 feet of a front lot line. The applicant proposes to widen the driveway to create two parking spaces, resulting in unenclosed off-street parking within 20.8 feet of the front lot line, thereby requiring a variance of 4.2 feet. Whereas a duly advertised public hearing was opened and closed on March 3rd, 2026, at which time all those in attendance wishing to be heard were given such opportunity. Whereas the proposed action is a Type 2 action pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read both whereas clauses and just have one identification of the factors. Whereas concerning the gross floor area variance request, the board, from application and record before it, after viewing the premises and neighborhood concern, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth in Section 250, Section 13, Part G, Item B, Items 2A through E of the Rybrook Code, finds. Now I'll read the second whereas clause. Whereas concerning the unenclosed off-street parking variance request, the board, from the application and record before it, after viewing the premises and neighborhood concern, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth in Section 250-13, Section G, Item B, Items 2A through E of the Rybrook Code. And now we'll go through the factors. The requested variance will not create any adverse impact. The benefit the applicant seeks cannot be achieved through another method for the applicant. The requested variances are substantial. The requested variance will not create any adverse impact to the environmental conditions or physical conditions of the neighborhood, and the need for the variances are self-created. Now therefore be it resolved that said application is hereby provisionally granted on the following conditions. No permit or certificate of occupancy shall be issued until the applicants have paid in full all application and consultant fees incurred by the village in connection with the review of this application. Okay. Are we comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay, Steve is excused. Glenn?
Yes.
Jamie is excused. Joel?
Yes.
Don, yes. Application approved. 3 yeses, 0 nays, 2 excused. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Okay. David, the 25-foot rule in the code is coming up a lot, and it's going to be coming up even more. Christian, do you have any suggestion as to how the village, if the village wants to look at it again and maybe modify it, or just leave it and let the zoning board deal with it each time it comes up?
I think one thing you could do is either you or Steve could maybe send a note to Chris and ask that it be put on the agenda. Whether we will reconsider it, I don't know.
What would be the potential modification?
Well, it could be, I mean, so typically if a zoning board, or at least what I've seen, is when a zoning board is noticing something kind of coming up frequently, you could, typically the chair writes a letter to the legislative board, just putting them on notice, saying, there's a requirement of the zoning code, we have seen this come up frequently, we ask that the Board of Trustees maybe take a look at this and see if there's any, code changes that could be adopted which would alleviate this. And, it seems like this is occurring in kind of the smaller zones where there's less of that front yard. And so it would be, it wouldn't need to be for every single zone in
It
the
would be by
village.
taking a look at the various zones and
Yeah,
seeing
and looking at, okay,
it
well,
works
your
at each
your
zone.
setbacks for your house are this, yet, your parking has to be here, and just kind of looking at it in that more narrowly tailored, because, for some districts, clearly this would not be a problem. But in the smaller districts like the R7, this seems to be coming to the zoning board.
Yeah, because I think from my walks around and drives around the neighborhood, it occurs when people have very truncated driveways to begin with. And even though there's a 40-foot front yard setback, oftentimes the driveway isn't long enough to put a car in front of the garage without creating this impact. Because I see it in mine, and I'm in an R25, and I see it being violated quite often there. And it's not just visitors coming in, it's just people leaving their car there, overnight or something. So I'm not.
Some people have like 2 or 3 or 4 cars, depending,
Yes,
how
exactly,
many people live in there too, yeah.
right. So, okay, well,
It's also compounded because these days, I can't speak for the past, it seems like there are more cars per house.
yes,
I know I have a neighbor that seems to have 4 cars in their driveway at all times.
right.
And cars themselves have gotten bigger as well. Like even just the normal, there's not really many like compact cars. What we consider a compact car might be considered a large sedan 20 years ago.
Right, right, right.
Let's take care of the last 2.
So I think, Steve, do you want to take a first cut at least bullet points?
I mean, I can, send an email, I can circulate an email, and, bring up your concerns to Chris, and then, copy Kenny Bean on it.
It doesn't have to be very formal.
Because the last situation, that hornet's nest that came about, it created, 10 more violation? Yeah, on that one street. So every house on that street basically was in a problem situation.
The next street, say, well, what about them over there?
Right, so we as a zoning board may be coming up, depending upon how the applicant reacts, with 8 applications on that same street, all because of that one application that was approved. Even though each application is unique, the problem situation is the same on that one street.
I am also
Yes. Right.
I mean, yeah, technically, my garage is a one-car garage because the wall comes out, you can't really fit a second car in there.
And technically and not technically,
Those are one-car
Yeah.
garages.
Yeah.
technically and not technically, mine is a one-car garage, and I probably wouldn't have bought the house, but in its more liberal days, I think, of the board and the town, the prior owner had built a carport, and so we're fortunate that we were able to use that as as a second, because it does get narrow.
All right, action there. The last two items have to be the zoning board summaries of November and January. And I read them over. It doesn't seem to be a problem, so can we have an approval of those?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded, so moved. Okay, those summaries are approved. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Steve, anything on the hopper for April?